We know, for instance, how much it costs to deploy soldiers around the country. We send soldiers for elections. Do we know how much we pay them? Do we know what the cost of that is to the country? Isn't that, I mean, those part of things that we should know as citizens?
There's a budget. I mean, there is budget for defense. That's completely open. We must be able to know all those ones. What I'm saying is that those things should be given. What is not given today is service delivery with respect to that sector. And I think what we Nigeria needs today is not so much of, I mean, it's all fine, those processes. But what I'm saying that until it's linked to deliverables in concrete terms,
that's where I want
Nigeria will say these are, buzzwords that are not linked to the reality.
Allow me to come in here, yes. Comrade Aremu. When we talk about the performance of the ministers and even the president, governors, and all of them, it translates to success or failure of these same people. But without the drivers, they can't get there, and the drivers are the workers. So what have you people done to see that some of these actually come to fruition?
First, I think you started the discussion by asking me our attitude to the resignation of the Minister of Power. You should credit us with that. It's not about PowerPoint. No, I'm saying it has been part of the pressure of labor. Apart from the demand of energy sector workers that they must be paid their entitlement, they also have reservation about the entire privatization process, but they've got key into it. They just say pay us as a very speak. They kept on saying that we don't have a disinterested process. Am I communicating? So rather than we don't have that luxury, what we see, we say so, and we've been putting pressure. And in fact, as a matter of fact, if government are listening to our reservations about the role of this minister in this process, long time ago, possibly the process will have been fast-tracked better than this. So in concrete terms, what I'm saying, what's Labour doing? I mean, even the whole exposure of the scam in the downstream sector, you have to credit to the mass action of the trade union movement, which we did in January this year.
It's not all about action. What about?
No, those are the because what people need at the end of the day. I mean, today we're having some prosecution, however marginal, with all the controversy over it. For me, those are the concrete actions you can't get through some internal monitoring or going through PowerPoint. Because it is about deliverables in concrete terms.
But comrade, sorry to interrupt you there. Yes. There has to be a how. I mean, here we are celebrating that in some states we're seeing deliverables. The question your position usually asks in those states is how? I mean, shouldn't we get to the point where we begin to say, is it just about bringing electricity? Is it just about telling us how you got to that place and accounting for us, accounting for it in the process?
Precisely those who seek public office must be clear about how they will deliver.
Our leaders clear.
Let me land. Then we've voted for them, and I thought it is the time for us to see those concrete deliverables. Not when they're in the office and then be telling us how they are. I mean, let me relate this, even though I agree with him that you don't compare with the private sector, but the principle is the same, whether corporate governance or public governance. How corporate companies deliver goods today, I don't want to mention names. Possibly they go through these processes. But what the customers know, consumers know, is that they must be able to have the service delivered. Before you deliver this service you're having today, I'm very sure you've gone through a lot of processes. But what we want to see is that we are seeing channel, television, delivering. What I'm saying is that I think the reason why most people have reservations, and you need to see the public commentary. I mean, it's not that people are not excited about the need for performance contracts and co. But people are saying we've had enough of these initiatives. What we haven't seen is accelerated service delivery, performance in concrete terms.
Maybe that's
and I think that we must have a tall order on that. I would be happy, and it would be nice to look at the next outing of the minister.
But as leaders, because you're in position of leadership, if everybody out there says, well, we just want to see action, in that position, you should be able to question the how. Because if you don't challenge the how, if you see the structure of how they intend to achieve it, you can say, no, from what I've seen here, this is the only result you can get. And so you shouldn't join the bandwagon and say, no, we just want to see the effect. You should be able to understand the process. People even ask, how come Labour has never organized, or maybe they don't remember, any forum such that They come up with facts and figures. This is what we have. Government contract this. This is the GDP. This is how much you pay for petroleum marketers. This is how much government earns. And so government cannot afford to pay certain minimum wage. We don't see that from Labour, do we?
How can you say you don't see that?
They only hear about mass action.
Wait. But before you have mass action, it's also informed by certain basic
knowledge. You go. So now there's a
how is there? What I'm trying to, you are the one who put me in this position to say what is Labour doing, but I thought you should be able to talk for us about what
I'm not in Labour, but you're here speaking.
Now, we've given a lot of ideas on how to turn different sectors around. We have a lot of policy pronouncement, policy paper. I mean, even take simple things of payment of salary as I went due. I mean, I read it take the president to once again set everybody through the Minister of Finance, set all the agencies on to pay the workers before Salah. After you have already fixed a date that people should be paid, those should be given. What people want to see is that they're actually paid. You know, so about how, I mean, the how must also be linked to the end result of what people have already done. What I'm trying to say is I think we need to really, move from this, emphasis of more the means rather than the ends.
No,
and I want to say, wait.
Comrade, it's very important. No, what I'm about to say is very important. A host of people have accused Nigerians of not wanting to go through the rigors of how. Because how, as a process, is a very rigorous process. And most times, it seems that we're not really interested in it. We just don't want to go through it. Just give us the results. Do you think that is true, or is it a fallacy?
I think you have been uncharitable to Nigerians to say so.
I'm not the one who said this.
Those who are elected
I'm not the one who said this. I think it's very important to say that.
Those who are elected to go through the how, they must know what those processes look like. And you say Nigerians don't know how to do how? I've given you an example. How I got to Lagos yesterday. After paying for it. No, I'm serious. After paying for it. You pay so much, you do a lot of round tripping before you can catch an airline.
Let me give you another instance. You've given me an example.
Yes.
The instance I'm going to give you is the instance of reading, the country reports, analysis, the reports that are published. That volume he brought here was quite bulky. How many people actually go through it, to be able to say, we're going to fault this process or fault that process?
Talking about how, have you seen the volumes of the reports of the House ad hoc committee on the petroleum scams?
Does Labour have any volume like that?
No, what I'm saying is that we are not in governance now. Those who are in governance, there are a lot of reports. Have you seen Vision 2020 reports? Have you seen Vision 2010 reports? But I'm saying that what this country needs is no analysis by paralysis. We need service delivery. Those are the means. The end is concrete reports. And I want to say so. Again, maybe you may accuse me of my vested interest in it. How many reports have you seen? Voluminous reports. Of course, there may be, and I know there are because I'm also involved in Edo State, for instance.
Oh, okay.
What people saw is that the linkage between those reports, which are not televised on television, about to turn Edo State around. But what people saw is the new roads, the new schools that have been done, to have been reinvented. They've seen the drainages that have been done, and they express that in their popular votes. Whether the volumes of this report, if we have election today, at the federal level, whether there's a linkage between this volume of report initiatives and what the people votes will look like in this country is debatable. So what I'm saying is I think it's important, as good as this initiative is coming up, rather belatedly, 15 months into this administration. I thought that's what the president should have done before he's inaugurated, get his contract leaders bearing. I mean, we don't need to have leaders who are learning in office, who are coming to ideas, but better late than never. What we want is that may this initiative, deliver real performance. Not necessarily the contract between him and his ministers.
All right,
the contract is between the president and the citizens, which were expressed freely during the last elections.